This lesson is on writing the conclusion. So the conclusion is the last paragraph of the essay. It should wrap everything up for the reader. To organize your conclusion, there's two basic ways that you could do it. One would be to focus on the similarities between your texts, in this case the two poems. The other would be to focus on the differences. You're only going to do one of these two ways, so you have to decide which one you want. If you're going to focus on the similarities, you should start by stating how the texts or sources were similar. So how are the poems, what common elements did the poems have? Then you want to provide a few examples of the similarities. You want to write 1 to 2 sentences stating what the reader learns about symbolism from the two sources, and then write a clincher. So an example of that is here. So each of these poems focuses on what symbols represent. So that's how they're similar. They focus on what symbols represent. According to the poets, in this case it's plural because I'm referring to both the bald eagle and the flag represent freedom. Paris writes, he's a symbol of our freedom. Cunningham calls the flag a promise to keep us free. So I pulled out an idea that each symbol, each poet had in their poem and included that in my conclusion. Our symbols tell the world that freedom is something that Americans value. Okay, so that's what we learned, right? And now my clincher, symbols show the world what a country stands for. Okay, the other way you could do it would be to focus on the differences. So if I was going to focus on the differences, I'm going to start by stating how the sources or texts are different. And then I'm going to provide examples of those differences. I'm going to write 1 to 2 sentences stating what the reader learns about symbolism, and then write a clincher. So it's the same, but different, because I'm focusing on differences instead of similarities. And an example, while each poem focuses on an important American symbol, the poets have different points of view about the importance of the symbols. So I've picked out what was different. In her poem, The New Colossus, Lazarus's Lady Liberty stands tall and defiant against the world, welcoming and protecting all who want freedom. She's a symbol of the ability to become a united people valuing liberty. So I summarized what that symbolism, what I learned about that symbolism. This is my take on it. The eagle in the eagle is a symbol of the unlimited possibilities of a country founded in freedom, a country that will soar to undiscovered heights. So I'm using a little figurative language here myself, right? And again, what I took away from reading the poem, my understanding of what was important about the eagle and the symbolism in the poem. So when you focus on the differences, this is about your interpretation of what the two authors said. Now I'm going to say what anyone can learn. Analyzing multiple symbols unmasks a common theme of freedom, a fundamental value of this country. So while they were different, in the end they both showed what the country valued. So that's what we learned from it. And then the clincher, symbols are a country's thumbprint and reveal its identity to any who seek to find it. And so I used figurative language here in my clincher, right? Our country's thumbprint, that is a metaphor. So let's talk about writing clinchers. A clincher is a final thought, and they generally fall into 4 categories. Figurative language, okay, a country's symbols are a compass pointing towards its essential values and beliefs. That would be a metaphor. Strong feelings or emotion. Symbols show the world what a country stands for. Again, I'm still using a little alliteration here. A quote from one of the provided sources, a symbol of our nation in all its glory, old glory stands tall. So you can end with a quote. Or a warning about what will happen if the situation doesn't change. Symbols unite a country. Without them, a country could fracture. So what would happen if we didn't have symbols? Any one of these 4 ways is an excellent way to end your essay. What you cannot do is end with a question. At this point in your writing, you are trying to show what you've learned, what other people can learn. You don't want to end with a question. It's not an acceptable way to end an essay. So one of these 4 ways. We'll be writing the conclusion hopefully tomorrow in class. And so if you have any questions, I'm happy to help you with your conclusion. You should answer the questions that follow this video.